I'm Moy, TEMPHUiBIS here, and in my last Q&A, so one of my subscribers asked a question, and it was a very, very long question, and I have a very, very long answer for it. And because of how many questions there was in the Q&A, I decided to take that question out and do it in a separate video. So this is the question. The question I was asked here was from htaste, and this was the question here that he asked. I have started to think that is there any point that steroids and such are illegal in sports? Like, for instance, why are steroids legal in UFC? Let's be honest, steroids would make fights more entertaining in every way. Fighters could fight stronger, harder, better, faster, and longer. And fighters and athletes alike all get busted on using steroids from time to time because they want to use them. Why shouldn't they be allowed to use steroids? Because of morals and ethics? Or because of possible health issues? But the thing is that fighters and athletes that use steroids want to use steroids willingly. It's their choice in the end, so why not allow it? Yes, there is one real problem that comes to mind, and that is that some fighters don't want to use steroids, and if steroid use became legal, these non-steroid using fighters would be in a disadvantage. To that I say boo hoo. In my opinion, these straight edge purists that don't want to use steroids are holding everything back. Fighters that want to use steroids should be well informed what they are getting themselves into, and if they accept and understand everything about steroid use, then we should just let them use them. And fighters who don't want to use steroids should be allowed to compete and do their thing. But they should be well knowing that they're in a disadvantage in performance to the steroid users. Anyway, times have changed, and I think that steroid use should become legal in everything and everywhere. I seriously don't get why steroids are illegal in anything, whether it's bodybuilding, sports, or in this case, UFC. People get busted for steroid use because they want to use them. Let the floodgates open and let's get some real brutal next level fights going. What is your opinion? Well, well, that's kind of what Real Steel is all about. That's exactly the the feel Real Steel was going for. You know, they said it in one of the scenes where where the people wanted to see brutal fights, and they thought they thought they wanted to see more brutal than what the humans could deliver. So they build the robots to fight each other and let the robots kill each other. That's exactly what they said in the film. That's exactly what they were going for. So so if you haven't seen Real Steel yet, I'd need to check it out because you'll like it then. Actually, I think you did. I think you did tell me that you like Real Steel. Well, anyway, let's get on to the question, right? Yeah. Well, I only have one way to sort of answer that. Yeah. You know, do you know this? Do you know what? Do you know reading that? Yeah. Do you know what you kind of remind me of? You remind me of the old fan that I used to be. I've been a fan of MMA for a long time, and I used to be a fan in the olden days for a different reason to why I'm a fan today. Now, where you look at this part here where you said, let's be honest, steroids would make fights more entertaining in every way. Fights could be stronger, harder, better, faster, and longer. Now, if I have to be honest, yeah, the type of fan I was back then would agree with that, right? Yeah, I was like, this is the type of fan I used to be when it comes to MMA. I used to be that type of fan who just wants to watch two guys fight. I just wanted to be entertained by the way the two guys fight. I didn't give a fuck how much they hurt each other. I didn't give a damn how much they were hurting themselves or what they were really doing. I had no respect for what they are doing in a case to entertain me and everybody else all around. I feel as if like I was taking everything for granted. You know, I was that type of fan who just wants to watch blood bloody matches and everything. Yeah, you can call me one of those old school fans. That is the type of fan I used to be. You know, back in the day, MMA rules, even the UFC one, the rules back then it was much more brutal than it is now. You know, back in the olden days, it was bare hands fighting. There was no gloves. There was you can kick the head of a grounded opponent. You can knee kick them in the head. The fights were more brutal than it could ever be, and all that. And there was a point in time when I said I used to fucking love it. I used to love that much more. But but I've changed now. I've kind of matured as a fan. I've kind of become more of a real fan who loves the sport for what it is. Now I care about the fighters. I have so much respect for the fighters for the craft that they have learned, perfecting their styles all the time. You know, I'm a fan of watching different techniques face each other, see how this would play against this and that. I love watching the fights for what they are, real good, great, brilliant fights, you know. And although yes, I still may like the brutalness in it and all that, yeah, I now care about the fighters to the point that that I don't want them to hurt themselves. I don't want them to do anything stupid to themselves. You know, I respect them, and and as you can see from my Instagram, I love meeting fighters. You know, I've got to I remember how when we were all young at some point, yeah, we used to watch boxers, we used to watch fighters in the ring and the cage, and we would say, "These Jesus Christ, these guys are so tough and everything." That you probably would have had the little stereotype thinking that when you meet them outside the ring or cage, you think they must be dysfunctional, like you couldn't be friends with them. Like you probably say one little tiny thing to them, and they get angry and they'll beat you up and blah blah blah. And all that is not true. You meet a fighter outside the ring and cage, and they're just normal guys. They're just normal. They chat, they play games like you and all that. You may think, oh, they're too busy to play games and they always work on things. And it's not. That's not true. Some of the fighters are fans of Pokemon. Some fighters are fans of movies, anime, all that sort of stuff. You'd be shocked to know what some fighters are into. They are completely down to earth. So, and some fighters, you could easily just hang out with as if you was a friend of theirs. You could easily do that. So you think to yourself, why would you want? Why would you hope? Or why would you want anything to happen? Why would you want anything bad to happen to that guy? So that's why I feel like it's kind of taken for granted, yeah, when you just want them to fight and be as strong as they could be for it, and that, because it is how I see it, right? Yeah, if they were all taking steroids, I know that a lot of fighters get busted for steroids and all that, right? Yeah, but those are the people who obviously try and take steroids and then try and flush it out, kind of. Let's imagine if they were just taking steroids willingly and nothing's there to stop them, so they can just take steroids and just keep jacking up and 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 jacking up. Yeah, they could make themselves way too powerful. I mean, I've never taken steroids. I don't want to take steroids. I don't know what it would do to you, yeah, but I'm confident, yeah, that it sure as hell can't do fucking good. The one thing I always would hate to see is someone die in MMA. People may get twisted and think, oh my god, you love watching all this fighting and violence and all this sort of stuff and all that, yeah, and then you get surprised when someone dies. You get all sad and stuff if someone died in MMA. It's like, dude, come on, we ain't fucking barbarians. Right? Yeah, we are just people that like a little bit of action, like martial arts, and we respect martial arts, and we want to watch the best martial arts perform and see who's better out of them. That's all it is. Like I said, maybe when I was a fan in the olden days, yeah, maybe you could have called me a barbarian then, but I've changed from that, right? But that's what most of us are. We just want to see them fight. So I wouldn't want to see people on steroids just jack up and hurt each other. You know, then here's another thing as well. Let's go back to the rules. I've already just spoke about how what the rules used to be and how I used to like them. There's a lot of rules in MMA that there's a lot of rules in MMA today that makes it more safe than the others. There's one rule that I wouldn't mind if they still kept that rule, which is kicks to the head of a grounding opponent. And the only reason why I wouldn't mind that is because I have clearly seen some organizations are still using that rule, and not the fighters ain't getting as injured as people are saying that they would be. They ain't getting that really bad brain damage that people expect, that people are believing that it'll cause, you know. But if they won't allow that rule in the UFC and loads of others, I'm not going to moan about it, because you know what, they know more about fighter safety than me, and I'm a person who agrees that fighter safety is the most important thing in any sport or anything full stop, to be honest. Fighter safety, people's safety, that's what it's all about. So I can't really moan too much about that. But here's one thing I can sort of talk about with the rules. Before I talk about rules as it goes, I'm going to get to it there. I've made it clear that I'm an MMA fan. You know how much I like MMA. Do you know what I also believe? I also believe MMA is the biggest sport ever. I like to help promote MMA as massive as ever. That's one of the reasons why I invented Zapedy. You know, now I want MMA to be bigger. There's one thing that, well, putting these rules on, everyone needs to remember that making these rules is what allowed MMA to be regulated in loads of the states. Because back in the day, MMA was looked at as human cockfighting. It was looked at just a violent sport, that it was just looked at as guys just fighting each other, like street fighting, guys just fighting each other and everything like that. Yeah, there wasn't really much martial arts involved. People didn't look at it as like what it is today. So with these rules, now people can see that it is a sport, you know, and it's helped legalize everywhere. You know, there's only one state not allowing it, I think, but I think that's going to change soon, which is New York. But before, it was hardly legalized anywhere, and MMA could have died forever. The only way we could have probably had to watch MMA is to fly to all of these underground events and watch them. It's like, you know, MMA wouldn't be as big as it is today, you know. That's why I have so much respect for UFC. I have so much respect for Zuffa, you know, even though they may make stupid, goofy moves here and there, I'm always going to appreciate what they've done, because I've got something really big in my life now, you know. I love MMA so much. It's just that, you know, that's what it is. So I wouldn't want to see it get banned. You know, I wouldn't want to see it get banned. I wouldn't want them to just start putting, because you know what they do, man. If they started if they just allowed steroids, you know that the sport would just lose its credibility completely, just down like that. Like I said already, I never used to care about the fighters. I was one of those greedy guys who just wants to see them fuck each other up and all that. You know, but now I'm a guy who respects them, and I want them to go back home to their families. I want them to I don't want them to, as soon as they leave, they have to go straight to the hospital and stay in the hospital for months. Didn't want to see that anymore. I like them to go back home to their families. I want them to enjoy their lives. What I want for these MMA fighters is when they retire and come away from MMA, they can live life to the full, everything that they've earned. I feel so sorry, for Muhammad Ali, who, when he finished fighting, got Parkinson's disease. The guy can hardly walk and all this and that, everything and that. I feel like, man, I wouldn't want to see fighters go like that. One of my favourite fighters ever is Diego Sanchez, and I'm actually worried that he's fighting soon, yeah, because I think he's taken a lot of shots and stuff, and he's one of those tough guys who fucking will tough it out and will take shots and to give shots and everything like that, yeah, and it's entertaining. I'm not. I can't. If I'm going to say I'm not entertained by that, yeah, then I'm lying. But at the same time, I am worried for him because I'm hoping that he does not end up, you know, I'm hoping when he finishes his career, he won't be mashed up pretty badly. Because I remember how badly mashed his face was after a few of the fights he's had recently, and I'm just hoping it just doesn't go too far, you know. So I'm still going to cheer for him, but in the back of my mind, I'm always going to be worried about him, you know. Let me speak about another situation where I probably would talk about what I was like as an old fan, and compared to what I am like now. About 3 weeks ago, was it 3 weeks? Yeah, about 3 weeks ago, I was in Southend, and I was watching my trainer Stav at his fight, and he choked the guy. He choked the guy out, and the way the guy dropped, it was like simple. Guy just flopped down, boy, and when that happened, we all cheered for Stav. Yeah, we were all behind Stav, and we completely went crazy as soon as he won. We were like bare happy and everything and all that. After my hypeness from jumping and everything and cheering and stuff like that, yeah, I went to the side of the cage where the guy was still down and hardly moving, and I was like, dude, please get up, dude, please get up, please get up. As soon as he started moving and getting up in front of we all clapped, we all cheered him for fighting well and everything and all that. And you see, and this is the funky things that we're all like, yeah. While that guy was coming out, some of us booed. We were booing because we were all behind Stav. So we're cheering for Stav. We were booing this guy, but then when that guy lost, we still cheered him for putting on a good fight, and we still applaud him, and we were still happy that he did get up. We were still happy that he was definitely going home back to his family. Now, the old me probably would have booed him, and when he would have flopped down, I probably would have just carried on cheering for Stab, and just didn't even take a second look at the guy on the floor still, and probably wouldn't have cared. I probably would have just carried on, and you know, you can easily just turn around and just say that when I was young, I was a prick. You know. But that's what I'm trying to say, how I've changed as a fan, you know. Now, so what else can I speak about which I feel matters to this? Here's another thing that you got to realise as well, dude, yeah? You know, you got to understand how you want the sport to be perceived. The entertainment is one thing, but you also got to understand how you want the sport to be perceived. I'm going to use another sport that I like a lot, that I even play, that I'm going to explain something about. You know, darts. So everybody knows I like playing darts as well. You know, I want to talk about the PDC, which is the biggest darts corporation ever. And trust me, this is relevant. Yeah, this is relevant. There's we know the best darts player in the world, yeah, Phil Taylor. He said in an interview that after tournaments they get drug tested. You know, you're being drug tested for playing darts, literally, as if. Well, I mean, what do you think when you first heard that? Obviously, I'm thinking, okay, it's not like steroids is going to make you a better darts player, is it? I'm like, darts is not something you need strength for. Darts is something you need precision, accuracy, timing, and patience and concentration. That's what you need. For steroids, that's not really going to help you with that, right? So then, I was thinking, what the hell? Why the hell is you get drug tested for? Then I thought about it and I realized what it's for. It's because they don't. It's because all these darts players, these proper professional players, they are role models to children. You know, children are looking up to these people and everything and all that. You know, we don't want our kids to follow guys who smoke weed, does marijuana. I know a lot of people, yeah, are angry about the situation that marijuana, that people think that marijuana should be legal. I'll get to all that in a minute, yeah. But the truth is, you want they're supposed to be role model to kids. You don't want them taking anything, yeah, that will get parents being like, man, I don't want my kids, yeah, to follow this guy and won't watch him on TV. You want to grow the sport, you're going to need professional players who but you just need basically want role models, right? So when you sit down and think, so when you think about that, you got to think about MMA in the same way. Maybe this is one of the reasons why Nick Diaz was banned, and they've given him a 5-year ban. As much as what I just said I feel is true, still I do disagree. I do think that five years is quite a lot, because especially when marijuana will not actually make you bigger and stronger and stuff like that, that will make you hurt your opponent even more. In fact, I think it even puts you at a disadvantage, you know. But yeah, and going back to the kids are doing MMA now. Back in the olden days, yeah, somebody may take their kids from a young age to go ahead and learn karate, learn taekwondo, learn kickboxing, muay thai, and stuff. Get their kids to learn this. Now people are just putting their kids straight into MMA. You know, it's like as if the first day your kid learns some kickboxing, and the next day he's gonna learn jiu-jitsu. Alright, and now we already got some prodigies coming up now. There's a prodigy from Ireland, yeah, named Nate Kelly, who I met when I was down Dublin, and I thought, and he's like a kickboxing and jiu-jitsu junior champion. So when he grows up, what's it going to be like for him in MMA? MMA is going to be so much better. It keeps on evolving. It's going to be so much better in the years to come. You know, I feel as if UFC stays fresh. Like, all the fighters we have in there today, there's new fighters coming, and they're just proper. They always keep changing the game. Now we got this new guy who just come in, Sage Northcutt, who's like, wow, he could be one of the best fighters ever with the way he fights. We've got Conor McGregor. We've got all these new fighters coming. So what's it going to be like in 10 years? It's going to be better. But if you do legalize MMA, then it's just going to die down, and there may not be no MMA in 10 years. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to get with this. All I'm saying is, I understand what you're trying to say, where it would be more entertaining maybe, but I guess it all just depends what you're entertained by, you know. You know, I think there's a part you said at the bottom here. Let me quickly see that part again. Yeah, you were talking about the guys who wouldn't want to use steroids and then fight a guy who's using steroids. You know, funnily enough, there is a couple of fighters who actually did say that look, let them take steroids. Yeah, I'll still fight them and I'll still knock them out. You know, a lot of people do respect them for having that sort of attitude, right? Yeah, and I remembered one fighter saying that, and I said, yeah, that's why he's a brilliant fighter. I said that, you know. Now, when he said that, yeah, it was like great that he will fight anyone, but still, as good as it sounds, we still need to grow this sport of MMA. I still love the sport of MMA, and we still want it to stay as a great, safe, legit sport. You know what I mean? You know, could you believe, yeah, that how safe MMA is right now? Yeah, there's actually stats that proves that MMA is more safer than cheerleading. It's safer than boxing. It's safer than football. And in fact, it's safer than American football. It's safer than a lot of sports. It really is. So I find that so so that's a brilliant thing. But guess what? People still look at it as a violent sport. People still look at it as this type of thing that should be banned because we're just watching people get battered up and everything and all that. There's fighters here who are banned from going to hospitals because they're an MMA fighter. That actually pisses me the fuck off. That actually offends me. That someone is banned from a fight because he's a fighter. You know, what you want to sort of do, you don't want to give these people ammunition to sort of give them more of a reason to try and ban MMA. There's people out there who want MMA banned. Don't give them more reasons. That's one thing I've got to say. So once again, definitely, I do not agree with legalizing the steroids. You know, I believe that they're going to increase the security and keep up with it. There's a lot of fighters that I've followed that they got caught for steroids. It's hard to look at those fighters the same way, but I don't know what my dad's happy about, but they had, I don't know what to say. I don't look at the same fighters the same way that I used to. That's one of the things. I may still watch them perform. I may still like them and everything like, yeah. But what I just don't want is it to be legalized. So now it's just a natural thing. So everyone can just do it naturally, yeah. I mean, here's a way I can sort of explain it, right? Yeah. Let's try and use games. I remembered, when we used to play FIFA 95 on the Mega Drive, there used to be this cheat that will make the ball go do a super ball and spin ball, so it will go spinning and thinking all around the place and everything like, yeah. Every little tiny shot you could do could be a really big hard shot. You could actually score from the other side of the pitch and stuff like that, yeah. All right. After a while, that ended up getting boring. You just wanted to just play FIFA the normal way with the normal crowd. It's the normal, so not normal crowd, normal play, normal gameplay, basically, right? Yeah. I wanted to just see who's just better at playing with the controls, not who's better at using the cheats, not who's better at playing the cheats and making it going all of this and everything and all that. Yeah. Who's the better MMA fighter without all the extra muscles and stuff added? Because I personally don't think that if two people use steroids, if two people use steroids, yeah, we're not going to know who's better because they're both going to be just this and that. Oh yeah, we'll probably just see smash and smash and smash and smash and smash and smash. It'll be all terrific. But I just believe that legalizing steroids will do a lot of bad to the sport than good, and I personally myself care about the fighters a damn lot more than I used to before. I care about the fighters. I like meeting the fighters. I like chatting to the fighters. You saw me in my Q&A vid, and honestly, I'm gonna say this, that I want every fighter to go through home to their family, and God forbid, yeah, any more die. To be honest, there's been loads of deaths in unsanctioned MMA organizations. There's been like some underground ones. You know, there's never ever been one in the UFC, and hopefully there'll never be one. You know, feel sorry for the fighters who get injured as well. So you know, I always will enjoy the fights, and I can't wait here for UFC 193. What are you doing, you biggie? Can't wait for UFC 193 this Saturday. It's going to be brilliant here to watch Joanna Jędrzejczyk and Valerie Letonov. You know, can't wait for that fight. And of course, hypes for Ronda Rousey and Holly Holm. So yeah. So I hope I've answered your question, man. I definitely don't agree with you. I'm sorry about that. I understand what you're trying to say because you know what, like I said, when I was younger, I had this sort of mentality, and I didn't care if a fighter was injured or not. So therefore, I would, if steroids was legalized then, and then them was just big guys really beating the shit out of each other, almost killing each other, you know. I can't imagine a really, really strong guy who's probably jacked up on steroids hitting you in the chin and you'll be fine after that for the rest of your life still. I'm sure that could really do long-term damages. That's all I care about, man. I just don't want long-term damages. So that's so that's my answer to you, htaste, and hope you're fine with it. Thanks for the question regardless, but and there you go. I think it's been over half an hour now, so that's all I've got to say, guys. Yeah, not sure what my next video is going to be. Whatever video I come out with next year, hopefully it comes out soon, you know what I mean? So thanks very much, guys. I'll speak to you all later. Love who you are.